think the grass is going to be greener on the other side. And then you go back to something that you dated when you were younger, and you kind of realize, again, like you said, that person's mindset didn't necessarily grow over time. Things happen in your life that make you change a little. Things happen in that person's life that makes them change a little more. This time frame has passed, and now the things that have occurred during that time frame have changed the two of you in a certain way. And now you go back into the situation and you guys don't connect as much as you think. Okay, that situation could have worked out, but because of the time that has passed, you guys are not the same, and you think it's going to work out, but it doesn't necessarily happen that way. Now I'm a person that doesn't care for toxicity. I used to be a person that loved it because it was fun. I was young. I didn't have a bigger plan for my future, but now that I'm back with you, the toxicity won't work for me. So therefore, this relationship can't work.
This was one of the things Alan told me, which I thought was like so great, and I've been running with it ever since, right? And this is my take on my analogy on dating an ex, right? So there's an old story where there was a woman who wanted a pig. Okay, this woman wanted a pig, and she was a very rich, wealthy woman. She got the pig, she got the baby pig, and she dressed it up in all designer. She put diamonds on it, diamond necklace, everything. She made the pig everything that she wanted, right? And then as she, had the pig, one day it started to rain, right? And she got caught in the rain. And the pig almost broke her arm to jump out of her arms so it could run in mud. At the end of the day, the pig is still going to be a pig. It does not matter what you want it to be. It does not matter what you want to dress it up as the same goes and the same rules applies as people. That person is what they are, and it's important to accept what they are, which is most likely, not all the time, but it's most likely the case that they are an ex and not a current.
It seems like oh, people are who they are. Like the pig is who they are. Accept the pig or don't accept the pig. How about we blame the woman for being foolish enough to believe that she could dress
wear Gucci?
No, that's what I'm blaming.
Okay.
Not just the woman, but that woman in an analogy.
Yes.
I'm blaming the person to not understand that you can't make anybody be what you want them to be. Right. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much power you have. I don't care how much popularity you have. You can't make somebody be what you want them to be. You could date a girl, you could be a guy, you could date this girl because she's beautiful, but guess what? She's not a wife. And you can't make her be a wife. You're a woman, you're dating this guy, right? And he's just an asshole, and you want a gentleman. He can't be a gentleman. And you got to understand that instead of trying to mold and change people and give people every reason to change, you just got to give yourself every reason to move on.
He makes a really great point with what he said. I have to agree with him. I have no issues with that. It is true. A lot of times what we do is we try to mold people into who we want them to be instead of just realizing who they are currently is who they are. Let me not try to fix it the way I want it to be fixed and try to do it a certain way, then get upset when the person stays the same and say dating sucks or this person is mistreating me or they trash. You see who they are. Take them for who they are. So I agree with that 100%. Let's continue.
I had to take a poll, right? And this is just an educated guess stat. I would say 80% of people who left their ex and doubled back to their ex is because they thought that they can qualify for something bigger or better, and they don't. And so they realized that what they thought their market value was and what they thought they could obtain, they can't. So now they're trying to go back to where they technically belong. But like you said before, that doesn't mean that person is going to accept you back, especially if your ex has now climbed the charts and now they're above where you met them, and you're still at the same spot where you left them. I think it's important if you're gonna leave somebody, you need to make sure that you understand that you're going to come back. If you ever decide to revisit, you have to be a better version of you. You have to be a more established version of yourself. You have to be a more, equipped, whether it be assets and or, wisdom, knowledge, whatever it may be. You have to have more attributes than you actually left with when you try to double back. If you try to double back and even if you're making more money, but you're still the same person, you're still the same person. You know what I'm saying? So those are just my tips.
Unless money was the issue, which for the case of marriage and divorce, they say that that's the number one reason why people separate.
I want to go back and I want to tie both of your points together when you were referring to, men being able to step out of their relationship because he is the sole provider or whatever the case may be. Historically, that was the norm, right? And I want to tie that into what's happening right now in terms of doubling back, right? Some people double back after the infidelity has happened in the original relationship. You know why? Because it takes an actual conscious, aware person to understand that being unfaithful does not mean you're being disloyal. If I'm still doing everything that I was doing for you, okay? If I come home and I make you happy, if I take care of home, I take care of kids, I do everything, I'm the workhorse, but you caught me stepping outside, that doesn't mean I was disloyal. That means I was unfaithful.
I agree.
I still never stopped doing the things that I promised to provide for us. And I still never stop, making you unhappy. Granted, if you are doing, stepping out because there is an unhappiness, that's way different.
I'm just go on a tangent.
So I'm gonna have to stop right there. I've been hearing that for the longest. I'm starting to hear it so much on different podcasts that I listen to. They're saying that you stepping out on your marriage or your relationship is you're being unfaithful but not disloyal. And you're not being disloyal because you are still providing, still making sure you're home, still taking care of the family and all of these other things. But the only thing you're doing is stepping out. Oh man, I do understand that because I've heard this said, and I do agree that men stepping out and women stepping out is different because of how we perceive women. Women are looked at in a different way in men's eyes than women look at men. It's different. I do believe it's a different thing, but at the same time, it's still toxic though. I truly believe it's toxic. It's not conducive to a good, healthy relationship if the man is doing everything he's supposed to be doing as far as finances provided, but stepping out. It's still what we're doing. We're still creating a bad thing in the community to be saying these things. I've heard it so many times, and I promise you, I've done my due diligence of thinking about that thing, researching it, and really breaking it down. But it's not going to work having that happen in a relationship and say it's healthy. That's not a healthy relationship. I'm sorry.
A little bit, sorry.
I love it.
But
thought-provoking.
Now, when you're with a woman, right? She's doing a lot of things to bring. When you're with a woman that you love, obviously she's bringing a lot of things to the table that you obviously need and desire. So if she steps out on you, you once said that you won't take that woman back. Why is
That's not what
there
I've
a
ever
difference?
said. Actually, in fact, I love correcting people. In fact, the way I actually got my job at 8 at the
That's all
table,
Raven. Hold on.
the way I got my job at 8 at the table was saying that if I was doing it, especially if I was doing it as well, I got to charge it to the game. And I realized that life, first of all, I stepped out in other relationships. So if I'm in a good relationship, and most men are probably going to deny it, but I realize that most men are just going to deny it to themselves. Mm-hmm. If you're in a good relationship with a woman and she steps out on you and she was still doing everything that she needed to do, granted, it depends on how she steps out. If she built the relationship, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. We're talking about like maybe a girl's trip, she fuck around and fuck Drake. I'm going to be mad.
I think I did. I do remember you saying, okay.
I'm going to be like, yo, I got to charge it to the game. You know what I'm saying? That's just what happens.
Nah, bro. Nah, I ain't going with that one either. I don't care who out there. My woman is not going to sleep with no Future, no Drake, no LeBron James, no Ja Morant. I don't care who you are. It's not charging it to the game. Why would we try to figure out, why the black community, why are we struggling with relationships? Why we got the most unmarried women? Why we got this going? Why we got that going? It's because of these mindsets. You making it seem like it's okay for your woman to step out on you if it's a celebrity. It's still not okay. We making it seem like, okay, it's a girl trip, it just happened. Nah. This is why we the way we are, black people. This is the problem we got. This mindset. See what we think. See how we handle things. I'm telling you. I'm passionate about it. I'm sorry. I'm going to continue the video.
You know what I'm saying? But if you go out and you go get a Pico and not a Rico, then we have an issue. Like, you're not gonna go below this. I know you're just desperate. Okay. But that was just to clarify.
But back to your point though, about the loyalty, disloyalty, unfaithfulness. So that is so key. When I work with my clients, I ask them, what do you want? Like the notebook, like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And many times people use this term of, I want someone who's loyal. And that's not the word that they actually, I'm like, let's Google it. Like, are we sure that the words that you are using and the attributes that you're looking for is actually descriptive of what you want? And that's exactly it. Like, nah, I want someone who's faithful. Okay, so then that's a different animal. So I agree with you 100% in that regard. Back to your comment, though, of how many times are we going to accept the unfaithfulness? Like, what are the circumstances? Like you said, the Drake versus the Pico. Like, what are the circumstances that are, I didn't want to use that word, but
It is
right?
what it is,
Like,
yeah.
acceptable. And then also in your case, you said charge it to the game if you were doing dirt, if you weren't doing the dirt.
No, I'm talking about even previously.
Yeah, in the
I've already did my. Listen, karma is coming. I don't know how she's coming, but if it coming, like, well, I guess this is what I deserve. This is what happens.
So you just
You know.
want to just deal with it.
I know what I was. Listen, I know everything that I did in my life. It wasn't the most reasonable, right? But you see the foot tap.
I do think that
See, his mindset is this way. If y'all notice and if y'all heard him speak, many times, I like a lot of things he say. No issues with them, but it seems that he has some traumas too. And I do think sometimes the traumas in men look different than the traumas in women. Women traumas can be seen very clearly most of the time, but men's traumas can be masked. It's because of we're so used to not being emotional, not speaking and expressing ourselves the way we should. But this guy really has some emotional traumas, because for him to think because he did people dirty, he feels almost like, okay, I got to charge it to the game. I got to charge it to the game. Yes, I believe in karma and things can happen to you. But if you've done things in your past and you have taken the time to really do the work on yourself, whether it's therapy, whether it's just reading and studying and just pouring in good information, talking to someone that can really help you, a leader or a mentor, I think that you shouldn't be just looking around the corner like, oh, I'm wondering what's gonna happen. My girlfriend gonna cheat on me. Who? I don't think you should move like that. Just get the proper help, man, and then you wouldn't be thinking this way, because his mindset is almost like, I gotta just charge it to the game because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. The next thing I know, my girl may mess with Drake. I deserve it. Now, I don't think we can keep moving this way. You have to forgive yourself too. And once you forgive yourself, you shouldn't have to look back like, oh man, I got to be worried like that. So I do think that's a possible trauma. And hopefully he can get the help he needs with that. Let's continue.
disloyalty and unfaithfulness can go hand in hand though,
Coexist, yeah.
because you're unfaithful but still be loyal to me. Like, I understand what Rico was saying, like he's still doing all of these things, but what are you telling this side bitch? Like, what are you telling this girl that you're cheating? Are you saying like, my wife at home is a piece of shit, like, oh, she's so annoying, blah blah blah? You're disloyal.
Yes.
But if you be like, I'm fucking you, but I love my wife, like I'm not leaving her, this is not like we're not gonna be in a relationship, like I love her, I'm going back. That is loyal. How you talk
That's
about
me right there.
How you talk about me behind my back is you being loyal to me. So I feel like that goes.
They love it. They love it. Women love that. It's sickening.
Ew.
Women love.
And not me.
If you tell a girl,
no way.
yo,
They
listen,
over here.
we about to
Me,
mess
I'll be
up.
loyal.
If we about to mess around, but I'm telling you right now, I love my girl. Do not fuck my shit up. Some women would be like, wow.
Don't even talk
I
about
want that.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I want that
her.
too.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm here
no
with you
matter
right
what.
now, but don't be talking shit about my girl.
No, yeah. What? I will fight you. Like,
Oh,
yo,
yeah,
we
like,
can
I will-
fuck.
we
You
can
better
fight
not talk
right
shit about
now.
my wife. Like, but women love that because at the end of the day, this is what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I could be in my own space.
And that's what we have to marry, guys. That's what we have. That's what like somebody that's gonna tell me like I'm gonna cheat on you, but well, I had your back.
No,
Like,
I'm not
what?
saying this is what we
Nah.
should want, but I'm just trying to
It's the
let
reality.
them know how
I'd rather be alone.
loyalty.
You know how many-
I
and
would
faithfulness.
rather be alone.
You wouldn't rather be alone. You'd rather be lied to. See, that's the thing. There's so much infidelity. And for a long time, even here at 8 at the table, I fought to not say normalize infidelity, normalizing the act of cheating. But guess what? It is more normal than it is unnormal. And we
See, and why is it normalized? Why do we normalize infidelity? It's because of the toxic things we like, what we say. Think about what's been said so far. cheating, trying to put so many different connotations on cheating. Let's not sell things that we know isn't right, regardless if you're doing it or not. Don't push. See, you're pushing that. You got to think about how many people are watching these podcasts. There's a lot of people watching these podcasts, a lot of young people. And when we push and sell things like this, infidelity, and I mean, it's men can cheat, but women can't cheat. It's the same. It's not really the same thing. And when we start adding all these things, it's bad for business. It's bad for black people. It's bad for our community. So even if you're cheating or if you're doing whatever you're doing, let's not push that out to the masses that it's okay to do. Let's not do that. Yes, I understand that cheating for women is a different. It feels different for a man, but let's not normalize that though. Let's not sell that unless we're saying we're selling toxic relationships. Because if we're talking about healthy relationships, I don't believe healthy relationships is people stepping out and this one being unfaithful, but they doing everything else right. But then on the other hand, too, we can't accept it. We can't accept this stuff. We can't allow somebody to just cheat on us, come back like it's all fun and games. So, because what you do is you're telling them it's okay to move the way they move. We got to do better, people. It's Byron Talks. Like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We are out.